Hello, and welcome back to Strike, a brief history of the Workers' War. I'm your host, Tim Philippi. For this week's episode, we're traveling back to 1619 to Jamestown, Virginia, the first permanent English settlement in North America and the site of what is widely considered the first recorded labor strike on the continent. As I mentioned at the end of our last episode, we had hoped to cover the 1538 Cobblers Strike, but unfortunately, aside from a nearly illegible article from almost 200 years ago, there just isn't enough information available yet. We'll circle back to that story once we're able to dig up more details. If you happen to have anything on it, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Also, a quick note, liking this video and subscribing to the channel helps a ton in getting this animated series seen by more folks. You can find this show and all other political comedy and historical shows from America the Podcast Presents on our YouTube channel or your favorite podcast app. Links are in the description. But before we get into our episode, it's important to acknowledge another major event in history that took place in Jamestown that same year. In 1619, the first ship carrying enslaved African people arrived on American shores. If you haven't already done so, we strongly recommend checking out the 1619 Project hosted by Nicole Hannah-Jones and produced by the New York Times. That podcast does an incredible job exploring the lasting legacy of that event and its role in shaping American history. That said, today we're focusing on a different but also significant event from that same year. This is the story of the Jamestown Craftsmen Strike. Strike! 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 Founded in 1607 by the Virginia Company, Jamestown was a rough, uncertain colony struggling to survive. Among its residents were dozens of skilled artisans brought in from across Europe, most notably the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth as well as German and Slovak regions of the continent. These craftsmen weren't just settlers, they were economic lifelines. They made the first goods ever exported from the colony to Europe, including glassware, pitch, tar, turpentine, soap ash, and lumber, all vital for trade and shipbuilding. But despite their importance to the colony's economy, these workers were denied the right to vote during Jamestown's first election in 1619. The reason? They weren't English. Well, that didn't sit right with the workers. Imagine helping to literally build a colony only to be told you're not qualified to have a say in it. Does that sound familiar? Does it? So, like workers throughout history, they took action. The craftsmen put down their tools and went on strike. This wasn't just about wages, it was about political rights. Their message was simple: no vote, no work. The strike put Jamestown's already fragile economy at risk. The Virginia Company, fearing the consequences, not to mention the damage to their reputation back in England, relented. On July 21st, 1619, the Virginia Company granted the craftsmen full voting rights, ending the strike. In the following years, these craftsmen also helped establish apprenticeship programs to pass on their trades, further rooting themselves into the colony's structure. To put it simply, the 1619 Jamestown Craftsmen Strike worked. It proved that collective action, even in a harsh and unfamiliar new world, can force those in power to listen. It was a pivotal moment, not just in labor history, but in the broader fight for representation and equity that continues to this day. Next week, we'll cover the 1661 Indentured Servants Plot, another early act of rebellion against injustice in colonial America. Once again, if you haven't listened to the 1619 Project from the New York Times, go check it out. We're not affiliated with them in any way, but we do believe everyone should hear that show. It dives into actual American history, not just the whitewashed versions many of us were taught in school. Also, despite our animated personas, we are human and can make mistakes. If you have any corrections, drop them in the comments. We'd love to feature your insights in future episodes. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow America the Podcast Presents on YouTube and our shows on your favorite podcast app. This has been Strike, a brief history of the Workers' War. I'm your host, Tim Philippi. Take care and join a union if you can.